Alrighty, TGIF, and boy, what a week to say yes, TGIF. This is Doc from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening in Rega, and all our friends from the Black Sea to the Baltic. Hang tough in there. The cavalry is on its way. It's just 8 or 9 months away. That's the problem. All right, what do we got going on this morning? You can see the Swiss is literally unchanged right there. You see that as we show you on the Chicago Quant. Over on the J4X, you see the same situation. Actually not. Look at the size of that candle on the J4X. It's pretty good. More reflective of yesterday's averages, and you can see the white line moving up. You see that pressure on the upside. At the top end of the range. You see that also at the same time. It doesn't seem to stop, or the beat goes on, as they used to say on that song with Sonny and Cher, as the beat goes on. That's pretty much the name of the game. And it seems like the world is a little bit much more calmer this morning. I guess out of this whole thing, all I keep on hearing is that they don't think the invading force is as powerful as we thought it was. That's the sad part, I guess you could say, is why reveal your cards? But I guess that's part of the nature of it all. In the end result, you can see the currencies have calmed down. Gold has moved back down again. Oil has moved back down again from their highs to their lows. It's literally $8, $9, $10. Like literally almost we got 6-7% drop from the highs of yesterday. I get in so many. I know it's hard to believe, but we are in so much more of a peaceful world. Can you imagine if this had been done in the 1950s or 60s? Just 50, 60 years ago. There would have been thousands and thousands and thousands dead. Instead, there are unfortunately hundreds and less. Maybe we're not sure. We keep on hearing, under 100 in one area. I'm sure there's plenty more, unfortunately, but the markets are reflecting the. I guess you could say they're reflecting the lack of violence, which is hard to believe because it seems awful violent right now, of course. But there really are. I mean, yesterday our markets rebounded from being down throughout the night, going into the morning, early hours, and by the end of the day, all our markets were plus for the day. I saw where the Moscow index was down about 28, 29%, and there was pressure there, and I could see some of the European stock exchanges down 3 and 4%, but not too much of a calamity. You could say that's pretty passive, really, compared to like a 1987 where you're down 26%, like the Moscow. In this case, the Moscow exchange, two of the Moscow exchanges, one in rubles, one in dollars, were down basically. One was almost 29%, the other one was down like about 30%. So it's as much as it seems like enormous chaos. The markets are trying to tell us on some level or another that this will pass too. This shall pass as time goes on. This shall pass too. All right. Let's see. What do we got else can we say about the Swiss? Not much, really. It's pretty quiet. So I mean, the fact that it's not falling incredibly hard down or running incredibly hard up, more than just inside the range, tells us that life is not really altered as much as you would think, and I think it should be. Martine, how you doing? Good morning to you, or good afternoon at this point. Or is it Saturday? No, I think you're on the east coast of South America, so it's just a couple hours difference. I think. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah. It's you're like South Africa. You're about an hour or two difference, I think. Right? You're in barbecue territory. Isn't that right, Martine? You guys have some great barbecue. I guess the Argentine meat market is an excellent meat market. So is the Brazilian one, and so you must have some great barbecue. Isn't that the sport down there? Besides trying to steal elections or something like that? Let's see. Oh, Janos. There's Janos. I thought he was in the service. Let's see. Any issues besides the one copyright mark? Oh, that's. Let's see. Who's he talking to there? Let's see what we got there. Just trying to read the message from Janos. Me? Copyright? I don't think he's talking to me. Me? No. I don't think it's me he's talking about. Let's see. Copyright issue. Lazar had late in mind to get tested on late Wednesday. Test results negative. I am tonight in the shift. Aha! Janos had to take those what we call the communist virus. Here, that's what we call it now. We don't call it C like Corona. We call it C like in communist virus. Oh, Strasbourg. Okay, okay. Spanish, French, and Strasbourg. Cool. Okay, we were talking to somebody, Martin or something, that was had moved from Chile to the that's the west coast of South America to the east coast, like near Argentina. Let's see. There we are. Oh. Also, you got a great football team, don't you? Indeed. Don't you have like RC Strasbourg, the football team? Hmm. So anyhow, I hope a good morning to you, and I hope your everything is smooth and fine. Actually, the weekend is coming up, TGIF, so can't complain there. There we are. Anyhow, that's the action we're seeing. There's not a lot of push and shove with this marketplace for all the activity that they've had in the Ukraine. So we'll basically sit back and watch and see if things smooth out. Um, it's a strange folly. I don't know how to describe it, but a strange folly. And from there, I guess we should zip over to. Well, why don't we do this? It's Friday, so we'll be a little lazier. Let's just take a look at gold real quick and show you how the metals market has rolled over. See, look at that. Look at that big spike up, and now we're a red candle and the white line is heading down. And we'll show you the same thing on Chicago Quant. You can find the right mouse. There it is, right? No, that's not it. There's the mouse right there. And we'll show you the same thing there. And it shows you that whatever calamity this is, we know it's a calamity, and people are getting hurt, and it's sad. But we know that one thing's for sure: the world markets are saying basically one and done. I think that's how we always used to look at it: one and done. Well, Martin, we kind of focus in on charts and numbers, so that helps out. Can I put subtitles? I hear you. If I could turn it on subtitles, I'll ask Janos if there's such a thing as subtitles for this. If there is, I will. Um, most of the webinar is based on looking at the charts. Lines, colors. So it's not that complicated. But I will ask if there's subtitles that we can actually put up on there. That could be, you would think that there'd be a program for that. Good morning, Kelly. Good morning. How are you? Euro, let's see what the euro is doing. But Martin, I will talk to Dukascopy about that. There's the euro. You know, they had their little slide yesterday. You know, we've been in a weekly sell for a couple of weeks. You can see that right there. And we've been in a daily sell since, right? Where'd that line go again? Keep on losing that line. Goes into a daily buy one day, and then goes back into a daily sell 2 days later right there. There we are. So we've been in a daily sell now, you know, for over half the weekly sell. You can see the pressure's on it. But again, it's staying inside the range. You know, Kelly, it's staying inside the range. So I'm not really looking at this and saying, okay, this is, you know, some type of catastrophic action and we should be concerned. And so you can see there the green line. And also, let's show you on J4X. This is for Martin, too. Martin, see the red? And you see the white line underneath. See how when it goes down, the white line is underneath the dashed. Over here on Chicago Quant, it's below the zero line, right? Let's put a zero line in for fun. Below the zero line. You can see it's downwardly pressure with the pink line, and it's underneath, and it finds a way to go down in value, down. I hope that helps. All right, from the euro, and we'll show you the same thing when we get done with Canadian. Oil's falling down pretty well too at the same time. And then there's cable. And there's cable right there. And show you cable right here. Because Martin, this is pretty much a visual thing. No problem. After YouTube, the old webinar, you think you put subtitles, but no and direct. Yeah, I will talk to them. I will. See. S'il vous plaît. All right. Over here on the cable, boy, they've really buried it down in here. Every time it looks like it's trying to get going again. You can see we've been in a weekly sell since here, and the pressure has been down, then sideways, then up, and now back down to this area here. Takes a Russian invasion to shake up the markets, it seems like, and even then it's mild. It says a lot about the fear of a Russian invasion. Obviously, it's not that fearful. It's odd. It's hard to believe myself, but seeing the numbers seem to say it. You can see here, there's the pressure. We were on a sell right there. See where this dropped, the white line dropped underneath the zero line right there, and the pressure came down with it. That's it. You're the one. Yeah. Greetings, Kelly. Yes. How about copper yesterday? Copper tried to get going, and by the time at the end of the day, you know, at the very end of the day, they changed some of the numbers, and next thing you know is copper is back into the sell again. It never made it into the buy yesterday. Yeah, you know, we were talking with somebody that moved over to the East Coast near Argentina, and they were moved from Chile after the communists got elected in Chile, I guess, something like that. And you can see the pressure on the pairs trades, but look at that. You can see also at the same time, as much as they're down, you can see right, where's it at? Where's the mouse at? Right here. You see right there, you see it's holding, flat. And you can see this little curve we're getting right there on the white line. And when we look at it on J4X right here, it's starting to curve. And then we'll start to see some type of action where it turns up, breaks through the dashed line, and then we'll probably see buying again. Indeed. So that's the three pairs we start off with every morning. And we're always welcoming anybody, they want to see something, we'll just put it up on the chat line and we'll throw it up there this minute. And we'll look at that for you. And then we go back to our normal rhythm. That's what we do. From here, we go over to the Turkish lira. They showed more strength yesterday than I was expecting. I was a little surprised to see as much buying as we saw. Right there. I guess it was just a move towards the dollar. You see it's already paired back. It's been in a buy since here. Where's that green line? There it is. And the sell is like right there. So you can see this curve down, and it went up. Isn't that funny? It went up and hit our box, and it just dropped right down. So we got the range figured out on that, and that's pretty cool. Let's not funny like haha, but funny unique. Funny in a unique way. You see here on J4X, it's trying to curve down. You can see at the same time we haven't gotten a red hinky yet, but it will. We will see a red hinky develop. All right, from there, we go over to the Euro Turkish lira, which you would think would be even more docile in some ways. Right there. And it tried to do the same exact thing. It hit the top of our box and has backed off. And you can see here, it is flirting with the weekly sell. It's underneath it. We have a good shot at possibly getting into a weekly sell. Let me go back to the dollar one. I didn't even notice the weekly signal over there. No, that's still holding up. But we trust the Euro Turkish lira trade much more. That's usually the true direction of the marketplace. As you can see right here, it's trying to move into the sell also at the same time. You see it's right there. It's very close. You see it's plot 1 is 0.0043, so it's still a plus. But the pressure is on, as you can see right here. Plot 1 is minus 0.0026. And that is the recipe of it all. Now from there, we'll jump over to the Canadian. Right there. And Canadian did the same thing. It ran up to the top end of its range right up in here, and it's trying to move back down a little bit. Normally, we look at oil and gold and so forth, and that usually is a signal that oil is strong. But in this case, it seems like it's not following that recipe whatsoever. And you can see, well, I guess it's just up a little bit. Let's just show you what's going on there. And let's put it up on J4X too, so you can see the Canadian outright. There's CAD. You see that curve going on. It's trying to weaken like the way we are too over here on the Chicago. And then, but it's not happening yet. And then take a look at this. There is oil. April oil is fighting to stay in the buy. Now, let me, well, we'll save this for the oil side and energy side of this conversation. But back months are actually falling down now and pushing into sells, which is surprising. And then you can see here, there's the gold. It's trying to go into a sell today. And it's back to the 1900 area too at the same time. You know, I mean, the high yesterday was like almost 70, was it? 70, 57. 57 yesterday was the high. And it's falling now down to, uh, you know, basically back to 1900. And silver is minus. It closed in a daily sell yesterday. All right. From there, we'll go over to the South African Rand, which we always assume because of the action we just saw in gold, that the South African Rand is probably moving back up. I would figure it's sideways at best, you know. Right there, and just sideways up. Why is my line not showing up there? It's just curving a little bit there now. Let's take a look at it over on J4X. Greetings from Chile. I really enjoy your some of the crops you guys grow. These taste really good. You know, the blueberries. I know it's past the blueberry season now, pretty much moving away from it. And the peaches and the nectarines and all, you're coming to the end of your crop there. But they are good crops. Let's see, and then we're putting up the South African Rand right there, ZAR. You see, oh, look at it. Yeah, it's moving down. Interesting. We were looking for it to play underneath the 15. It did from this weekly sell signal we got up in here. And it's been, you know, down, up, down, lower lows, that type of thing, taking out that low, then taking out that low. And then it took out this low or that low, you know. And then the war noise kicked up, and now maybe it'll drift back down again. All right. From there, we go over to the center of the universe at the moment, right there. Look at the ruble. They took it to new all-time weakness of 90. 90 rubles to a dollar. And we imagine China yuan one day will look like that. You can see right here the ruble moving back down. I guess, you know, kind of things are chilling a little bit, but we've been in a weekly buy, a daily buy since here. We've been in a weekly buy since here. We wrote an article about this yesterday. You know, we went into the weekly buy back in November, and it slowly grinded its way up, and then went into a weekly sell 4 weeks ago. Lasted one whole week and went right back into the buy again. So, you know, pretty interesting stuff there. Pretty interesting stuff. All right, and I imagine as this will be a good representation of when things get a little bit more quieter. Right now, this could be a whole new range of 75 to 100 or something like that. I don't know. You know, one thing is for sure, we were really disappointed with the way the cryptos. Let me see if we can show it to you. Really disappointed with the way the cryptos had gone. Let's show you the ruble here on J4X. There's the ruble. And what's really disappointing is the way that the cryptos have been very poor places to run to over X period of time. We're getting a bounce out of it today. We are. But you would think if a country was invaded by the Russian Federation, you would think, specifically a European country, you would think that the ruble would be through the roof, like trading at, you know, 60,000 or something like that. But instead, it found its way down to 35,000. So it is an odd event. You know, a lot of people in the, you know, what do you call it, the crypto universe have always thought that this could be an alternative asset to all the classics, but it's starting to turn out to be a different type of asset than people realize. The asset this is one that moves away from central bank activity. And because of that, you know, it has an interesting characteristic and influence that goes on. So you can see here, here's Bitcoin, and yesterday, during that invasion of a European country from the Russian Federation, the product went all the way down into the 34s. I mean, now it's at almost 40. I mean, yeah, where's it at now? It's trading at, when we went into it, we closed in a daily buy, and we were in a weekly buy, but we're still in the minus area. It's going to have to do some cleaning up to get it to go back up. We'll see how that plays out tonight, and then obviously next week to see if the trend changes. You can see the last time this product had gone into a sell was back here in November, up in the 60, almost the $70,000 area, 65,000 area, and it went to 69 the next week, and rolled over and never got going. It never saw those numbers again. It was sayonara. And at the same time, we were in a daily sell from here, and it just stayed in that sell and didn't get into a buy until like right here. Or was that a buy right there? This is the back contract, so it might have gone into a buy for a day after dropping $15,000, and then going back into the sell the next day, and and then you had your buys and sell noise going on, and that's not right there. This is old numbers from lines from the front month. And this is now the a new month, so it's not really matching up. Usually, now here is the most accurate because it's a front month, but the weeklies are okay. But the dailies, can vacillate back and forth, just like we're going to show you with June oil versus front month April oil right now. All right, so there is the Bitcoin, and we're disappointed, of the cryptos not being that alternative asset class that we were hoping that it would be. I mean, trust me, a lot of us are praying for something like that. We want it to be an alternative of assets. We want it to be a new independent asset. Something, in the QE era, where we like the idea that there's something that's above and beyond the central banks. I mean, what fun would it be if we joined in with the gang to go with the man, as we used to say in the 60s in the hippie universe. The man. Yeah. So anyway, there it is, and at the same time, you can see, that's the disappointment we really have out of this whole. And also, it's an enlightenment. It's a disappointment that it's not an alternative in the ways we were hoping. And at the same time, it's an enlightenment to show us what the cryptos really are. And that is they're a tool, a totally separate asset that's not necessarily an inflation fighter or a place to run when the rest of the marketplace is in disaster. What it is an alternative to the central banks. That's what it is. So no wonder it can't get going to that 100,000 that everybody's looking for, and then they're looking for it to be $1 million one day, because it will have, if it's the alternative to the central banks, then what has to happen, of course, is the obvious. The central banks have to go away, right? For it to go to $1 million. That's pretty much what it really comes down to. Martin says, better for me substitute after again yeah, I guess the video, right? But I will talk to Janos about subtitles. I will talk to Janos about subtitles, and I will talk slow enough so that you can try to take apart what I'm saying. But again, the charts are obviously they talk. Our charts really talk in the end. It's the charts. It's this indicator and this indicator that talk. That's what it really comes down to when looking at J4X. It's the colors that talk and these two indicators right here that talk. So when it's bouncing up, like the white line above this is here, becomes a bottom for action on the upside. That's what that does. That's something. All right, from there, we jump back over to, where are we at now? We're at, we were looking at the ruble, and we were surprised by the actions in Bitcoin and gold. And now we go to look at the yen. Let's see what the yen is up to. The dollar-yen pairs trade. You see there, we're seeing that strength there. This year is like 5-year highs. So there's a lot to be said about what's going on here in the yen. You see the white line is above this line. You can see the strength is going up. Same token, over here on the Chicago Quant, our proprietary chart system, you see the same situation going on. The yen is above this line right here, the zero line, zero, right there. And you see the white line is above it. It's above the zero. And so you see strength going up. Same thing here. Strength going up. And you can see that in the price action, it's going up in value because we have this above here, right there. This zero line right there. Let's see what else. We should get rid of the blue. Let me do this. Let me turn something off here. It'll help you out a little bit more. There. So you can see the zero line right there. And this is above it. And when that's above it, this finds a way to go up. When it's below it, right here, below the zero line, you see it goes down in value. All right, and last but not least, from there we go over to the Mexican peso. There we are. Okay. What you see here is the Mexican peso bouncing off of its range, and you can see that right there. There's the range between there and there. This range is a couple years old. It just broke out here because of Mr. Biden's negotiations with Canada and Mexico. And so normally it did not get past this range, but this time it did, and then fell back down after a couple of days. And you can see the spike from yesterday, and you can see this action there. It was in a sell from here. You see below the zero line, right there, and then the wild news. And we're hearing right now, as I do the webinar, we're hearing that China has announced that they talked with Russia, and Russia is going to negotiate with Ukraine. So we'll see how that goes. I think that in the end result, this is a folly of great proportion, like the Berlin Wall falling. This shows that Russian, I can use all kinds of magical words that people want to talk about, but in the end result, it shows that this may not work so well in the 21st century, thinking that you can bomb and destroy other countries. Let's put it that way, especially European ones. Obviously, where there is, you see it going on in the Middle East a lot because it's mainly state-sponsored terrorism by their own governments. So, I mean, that's the reason why you see it there. You're not sure who's bombing who at any given point because they do it all over the place. But Ukraine is not a place where every day somebody is doing a suicide bombing or shooting and killing or stabbing or stoning someone every day. And so that is part of the civilization of the Middle East. That has to change to stop that. But obviously in Europe, that has kind of gone of the way of the last century. So it's not really fitting in right now. So Mr. Biden, no matter how inept he is, Mr. Putin's adventure or political communication to Ukraine about how he thinks things should be may not have the longevity that anybody really thinks. That's the weird part about it all. We'll see. Time will tell, but I can see right off this is not being taken very well. You know, this is not being taken very well. All right. Now, from the Mexican peso, we are pretty much done the currencies unless someone wants to see something. And if not, then we'll just keep on marching along to our energy side. Let's look at the energy side. Oh, no, let's do metals first. Metals will be easier because I'm going to show you silver. You see silver is in the red now. You can see the white line is definitely buried for the last couple of days on the downside in here. And then over here, you can see silver went into the sell yesterday. I mean, it didn't even make it into the day, and you can see it's down even more. So it closed yesterday at 2468, almost 2469. And right now, as you can see in the little box over here, is at 2419. You can see the same thing over on J4X. There was a 14 bid. Let's see, where's our bids at the moment? The bid is 18 now, and offered at 19. 18 offered now. Dukascopy was just 17.5, 18. Now you see 14, basically 17, 15, 17. It's a nice tight market in there. And so, obviously, this is not holding up whatsoever. And that's where we stand at this point in time with the metals complex. It is not, I repeat, it's not holding on to their gains from yesterday whatsoever. Gold is down almost $55 from yesterday's high. Let's see what copper is doing for our friends in Chile. Right there. You see all the red on the J4X chart. And over here on the Chicago Quant, same situation. They match up. Red, red. Red, red wine. Now look at that big, long weekly signal we've been watching for a while now. Right there. You know, it's been in that weekly buy, but it hasn't really gone too far. I mean, it's been in the mid-40s, you know, 430s area, 35 area. Played down to about 36, 37. And ever since it's been in the buy, and the best it could do is get up to, what's that, the 470 area. It's only 30 cents. It's pretty quiet, actually. In many ways, you know, we've been talking about the fact that copper seems to be a representation of the inflation itself. And you can see we're at the higher end of the range of copper. So obviously inflation is kicking up. And we do have some inflation news coming out today at the same time. There is inflation news coming out in another half hour or so, something like that. And that is where we're at the moment. So, where else can we go from here? Let's see. Oh, let's take a look at platinum. Let's see. Let me see if I can find the platinum real quick. Here it is right there. Platinum seemed to be reading this whole action. I'm hoping that it's minus. Yes, okay, look at that. Platinum went into the weekly buy. Now where's the line at? Why does it keep on erasing? But platinum went into the weekly buy back in here, literally at the end of the year last year. And, you know, it climbed really well from the under eight, you know, around 925 all the way up to $1,100 basically. And good move. And then it went into a sell here. I don't know why my lines have disappeared. But anyway, there it is right there. That went into the daily sell there, and you can see to a great extent, platinum has just fallen down from all the news. So this was like um, people obviously were betting on the invasion, and they played it, and now they're getting out of it. And you can see here we're heading for a weekly sell even. So what else can we say about any of that? When it comes to the metals complex, you can see copper sideways down, silver in a sell from yesterday, gold well off its highs. Where is gold at the moment? Let's take a look and see. Right there again. Pressing down even more now. Cleanly trying to get into a sell, that's for sure. And it's down for the day. Oh, it's underneath 1900 now. So we're at 1895. So the whole invasion thing is really falling apart when it comes to global markets, that's for sure. It's definitely that. Indeed, indeed. All right, from there, where do we go from there? Let's see, that's the metals complex. So now let's jump over to the energies. Let's look at Brent. There's Brent right there up on J4X. You see they had that thing up to 106 and change. Some say they saw it in the spot market as high as 110. But on the futures market, it seemed to reflect close to 106. I know an oil trader, he said he saw American oil up to 105 when he saw Brent up to 110 at one point in the spot market. But that didn't last long. And then you can see over here, there's our spot oil April contract, you know, at 93.06. Yesterday's settlement was 92.81, so it's up about 25 cents, barely. And you can see it's trying to bounce. You know, it's in the buy still throughout this whole thing. And you got that volatility signal yesterday. And it's trying to push into the sell as we speak. Now, let me show you the back month, the June contract. You know, this is like 3 months out. They closed it in a sell yesterday, and it's pressing down now. And this went into a weekly buy a week ahead of everything. And now, you know, it's not in the weekly sell. Today is Friday. But it'll be very interesting to see where we end up over the next week or two if this thing finds a way to get back into the sell. And that is pretty much the recipe of it all when it comes to the energy of oil itself, you know, to feed the automobiles and machines and the trucks. Now, over on natural gas, let's just check out natural gas, which we're looking at the April contract now. And that's where's it at? Right there. There we are. You can see here, throughout this whole thing, it barely could get going. It did pop a little bit. I mean, you know, 40 cents for the invasion yesterday, but in the end result, closed in a sell. We're still in the weekly buy. Let's see how well this lasts for the next couple of weeks. And then over here, what you see is that it right there? No, we want to go here. Okay, let's go over here on J4X. That's what I want. We want to take a look at, you can see where the American natural gas is right there, just $4.50 to a unit. In Europe, it had gone as high as 38 no more than, like, you know, a month ago. Yeah, an enormous jump, you know, horrendously enormous. And now we've seen it as low as 22.5 about 4 or 5 days ago, and right there. And today it's at 23.44. It did pop a little bit yesterday. It's not really reflected as much right there, but it's 23.4 to the unit. It's still 10 times more. Yeah, that's pretty tough stuff. So, you know, it's just a matter of time, you know, before you see a change there. But it seems like it is falling back slow and steadily. You know, it does seem like it's doing that. Again, I think weeks will have to go by before it all calms down. And like I said, the as we call it, the old cavalry, like in the old cowboy movies, is over the hill. It's coming, but unfortunately they are about 8 or 9 months away. And once they come, a lot of this mess is going to be gone. The adults are going to take over government again, not the clowns, not the children, but the adults, the responsible people that make life work every day, not the ones that want to pretend and dream about puppy dogs and snapdragons. As you can see, Ukraine, things like Ukraine happen when people who want to dream about puppy dogs and snapdragons. All right, from there, that pretty much does the energies, and we've done the metals. So from there, we'll go take a look at the stock indices. Let's take a look at the Nasdaq 100, which is right there, which Dukascopy refers to, and everybody in Europe. And we used to call it the USA Tech Index. It's the official name of it still, but we just call it NQs since it's now the most powerful index in our country. And you can see here it's bouncing back up from yesterday's action. It closed up pretty big yesterday, I can tell you that. Let's show it to you right there. We'll even show you intraday action of it. So right there, there's the NQs. Notice it's at the top of my chart. Look at the rally it gave it yesterday. Didn't make it into the buy, but it was very close. Today it's pushing up, and we are through the zero line right there. We're at 69 and change there. It's trying, and we got a red and a green going on, and it is acting extremely strong. And it rallied over 400 points yesterday. That's a pretty big move. And then let's see, where do we go from there? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at let's see, right here. Let's try showing you the intraday. Right there. Let's do this, and we click on this right there, and it's that chart, the intraday chart. And you can see here the product is up. What is that? It's up 49 points. 47 points. This thing flies all over the place. 47, 49. Give us a 50. Come on, give us a 50. It's so easy to see that 5-0. It just misses it each time. It'll do it. It'll blow through there. There's a 50. And this thing is up 450 points in the plus from yesterday. From the plus, not just from the lows. So I'm talking about from the plus. It's up like 1,000 points from the lows. That's what it's like. It's like 1,000 points from the lows yesterday. And we can even, I think we could go back 2 days, but that's the Nasdaq 100. And this is the stock index that has, you know, Intel and Microsoft and Amazon and Google and Tesla and Apple Computer and some biotechs in there like Moderna and so forth, and IBB, or is it Amgen, and you know, Cisco Systems. It has all the modern companies that are moving our world economies every day. So that's what's going on. Look at it now. It's at 68 points, 70 points up. Again, we're We're telling you that we think this could be a major game changer, like the fall of the Berlin Wall, and not with the way Mr. Putin thought it would be. That's the thing. Not as much as America is a confused place at the moment with Mr. Biden as its leader. Uh, he is so low in the polls, and the constitutionalists and the rule of law people are crushing elections everywhere. We're going to see more power in his opposition that is going to be greater than the power that they had in 1861 of the Civil War. That's how powerful the elections are turning at this point. That's incredible numbers. Incredible. People are just as much as they didn't think that Mr. Putin would do the unthinkable, and that is invade a neighboring European state. I mean, it's one thing to go beat up on countries in Middle Asia, that are part of his federation on some level or another, but to actually go and do this to a European country on the borders of NATO and the European Union, whew, I think this is going to be as dramatic as the fall of the as the Berlin Wall. I really do, in the same way, and that's not what I believe Mr. Putin was looking for. This is definitely not what he was looking for. All right, now over to the S&P 500. Here it is right there. This is the S&P 500. This is like what I call the global stock index, probably the most popular index on the planet. This has over 500 companies in it, and over half of them, or at least 50% of them, are not American companies. So 50% are American-based companies, and the rest could be Royal Dutch Shell, it could be British Petroleum, it could be, Audi, it could be Volkswagen, it can be. I think there's one or two Chilean companies in it. I can say that there's, probably an Argentine company in it. It's got probably dozens of European companies in it, like and British companies, like British Aerospace is in there, and HSBC, and let me think who else could be. I mean, there's just dozens of them, of different companies around the world, from India to Japan to South Korea, Siemens, not Siemens, San, what's it called? The electronic company, Samsung. It has Siemens in there from Germany. It's just this index is globally. You can see it's up almost 20 points now as we speak. Now let's look at it on the daily chart right there. This is also doing the same exact thing as yesterday. Its low was 4,101.75. So basically 4,102. Right now it's trading at 4,304, up over 200 points since yesterday's low. And yesterday it closed up. When did it close up? It closed up something like settled at 4,222, and yesterday it settled at 4,284, 62 points higher. And now we're up another, 21 points as we speak. And this thing is rocking and a rolling and a reeling and doing its fine thing, going to new highs of the day. And it's not really letting go too much. It's a beautiful. This is where this chart is almost a 2 Tesla. I call the 369 a Tesla in our math, in spatial math, and spatial math time, no less. That's what we refer to that as. It's a 1.5 Tesla basically. So 2 Teslas would be 369 twice. Now this is a 1.6 Tesla, and that's really the action we're seeing. Is that obviously the world has not come to an end, and things are definitely much more sane than we thought it would be after the Russian Federation invading a neighboring European country. And that is the action that we see there. And so when I talk about this Tesla combination, we're talking about, if anybody's interested, it's kind of like a slice of ergodot theory mathematically, where it takes time and it turns it into packets. So we're not looking at the same type of time that most people look at in our charts. That's why we show you the Chicago quant. And then stochastics is a function of that mathematics. And that's why we do a slow stochastic against a fast stochastic, two competing stochastics. It emulates, or it kind of represents, that type of action there. All right, so from the S&P 500, where's that at? Right, it's there somewhere. Right there, there's the S&P 500 that we're showing you right now, and that's the daily chart right there on the right. The last chart we'll take a look at is the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the grand old lady of them all. And you can see the pressure has been on the old index. It only has 30 stocks in it, and out of the 30, something like 5 or 6 are from the Tech 100, which is unique because the Dow Jones Industrial Average was a New York Stock Exchange index, and that just shows you that the New York Stock Exchange does not really exist anymore. It was bought by ICE, and so they've commingled many different things with it now. Those days are gone. People don't realize the New York Stock Exchange doesn't really exist. And let's just show you the grand old lady right there. And there she is. And she is up 134 points. At one point, she was down 1,000 points yesterday, and she closed up 90 points, so 1,100 points higher from the low yesterday. And today, she's up another 130 points. So we're seeing buying and strength and everything else coming into this marketplace. And when peace and freedom are allowed to reign, the world is a better place for it, and the markets will reflect that. And when you have tyranny and bondage and evil and criminality, markets are taxed because it taxes everybody to know that you can't walk out your own door and be safe. All right, traders. This is Doc from North America. We will catch you all tomorrow, same time, oh, no, I'm sorry. Today's Friday, so TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. Everybody have a safe and smart weekend. Our friends in Riga and so forth in Latvia there, don't worry. You're NATO. We will come and visit if there's any issues. And we will be armed to the teeth. So, see you on Monday. Happy trails to you. Until we meet again, this American cowboy will bring his friends. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Ta-ta for now.